Hi guys, this is Alex and I'm back with more Kerbal. So, in the last episode we sent wheat to the moon to accomplish a contract. And in this episode we're going to be sending him to Minmus. And I also figured out what was wrong with, I guess it really should have been obvious why the craft was not entirely stable. It's because it wasn't balanced. So, I'm gonna add a little bit more fuel because I'm going to balance it like that. That ought to keep it a bit more stable. We're also going to need a thermometer, and we're desperately going to need solar panels, so we'll get those. I don't think we'll really need much else for this mission. Yeah. I think this will do. How much does that thing weigh? 0.15. I hope that'll be enough. Enough fuel. I'm sure it probably will be. So we're gonna go to Minmus today. So the thing about going to Minmus, it's actual... This is interesting. Stability assist, retrograde, prograde. Interesting. It must be because he gained skill as a pilot. So the thing about going to Minmus, it's actually, in my experience, a little bit easier than going to the moon. Surprisingly. It requires, you to know a little bit more about how to adjust your orbit, but other than that, it's actually pretty easy. And wow, I really should have put on my glasses for this because I can barely see the TV from here. But basically, the reason is because Minmus has such a low gravity, which makes landing on it really easy. Also makes taking off really easy. But as a result of that, you use a lot less fuel. Okay, that got kind of close to the rocket there. And since you use less fuel landing and taking off, it makes it a lot easier to get back to Kerbal. So overall, I find that it's actually a much easier mission, even though it's farther away. Because the thing is, once you get that far out, once your orbit becomes that elliptical, smaller changes in your velocity start to have a larger impact on the size of your orbit. Okay, let's go a bit faster. I don't think we're going fast enough. But anyway, what that means is that it really doesn't require that much more fuel to get to Minmus than it does to get to the moon. Let's see if we can get thermometer reading from up here. Upper atmosphere. We'll take a look at that later. Right now, let's get into orbit. So yeah, getting to Minmus in my experience is actually easier than getting to the moon. And you'll see why. You'll see how quickly my orbit starts to change once I get the apoapsis up to moon height. It really starts to change really fast. So yeah, and I usually in taking off, I aim to get like orbital height of 75 kilometers to 80 kilometers, because the height of the atmosphere is 70 kilometers. So you want to aim just above that. Also, I was going to explain a bit more about why this asparagus staging is so much more efficient than just like any other staging that you can use in this game. Well, I don't know, maybe there are more efficient ways, but this is a pretty efficient way. Pretty good way. But I'll say right now, I'm probably not the best guy to explain this because I'm not all that smart. There are a lot better people out there that can explain this a lot better than me. But the way I usually think of it as, it basically sheds dead weight as it becomes dead weight. So you can think of the fuel tanks and the engines. If you have enough thrust to stay at the speed that you want to stay at as you're taking off, then, well, basically if you have more than that, then you basically have more engines than you need. They're basically dead weight. And if you have more fuel tank, if you have empty fuel tanks, then they're kind of also dead weight. Let's see. We're going to want to go to Minmus, which is right over there. So we're going to want to do the same thing that we did to get to the moon, and that is that we wait until it comes right over the horizon. So this is what I do. I just wait. I just kind of align the two. I just align my craft with Minmus, and then I just wait until it comes over the horizon like this. Easiest to do it in the map view. There we go. So basically what you're doing with the asparagus staging, you're trying to get rid of that dead weight as soon as you can. Like if you just had like 3 boosters, if you could imagine when each of those boosters, if they all use the same engine, they're all the same size, all that, once they reach about 1/3 of their fuel level, then you basically just have 1 full booster worth of fuel. So you'd be shedding a lot of weight if you just took all of that fuel, put it into just one booster, and removed the other two. That's basically what asparagus staging does, is it uses the outermost fuel first, and then when that's empty, then it starts using the innermost fuel. Well, it starts using the next innermost fuel. And it basically goes around in a little circle like that until it gets to the center. And that way you can just keep removing those stages that are just dead weight. And the caveat is that you need to make sure that you have enough thrust to stay at the speed that you want to be at. Okay, so look, I reached the moon, only a little bit more to get up to Minmus height. Okay. So yeah, you do need to make sure that you have enough thrust at the upper stages. I find that that's my biggest problem usually, is that I just don't have enough thrust at the upper stages to stay at the speed I want to stay at. So this is what I meant when I said that you kind of needed to understand how orbital mechanics work a little bit. Which actually isn't all that hard to understand. This part is pretty simple. Basically, what I'm doing here is I'm aligning my orbit. And I wanted to do it, and yeah, I have to do it here, because that is where the ascending node, I think, was. And basically the ascending node means that that is where my orbit would be on the same plane as Minmus's orbit. So I wait until I reach there, and then I just burn down, because I want to move this part of my orbit downward, so that's the direction that I'm burning. And when in doubt, always use maneuver nodes like this. They're incredibly useful. They'll tell you exactly what you need to do. Sometimes the estimated burn time isn't accurate, but yeah, see, like now, that said like 50 seconds, and now it's down to like 20. So that's not always accurate, but the delta V is. The delta V is usually accurate. And just try to keep on that maneuver node there, and there we go. That'll do for me. Do a little bit more if we want to lower it some more. Just sort of stay on that little marker there. Oh. No. Okay. Oh, no, it's not lowering us anymore. Okay. That'll do. And we've got about half our fuel left, which is good. Again, Minmus is a really easy moon to land on because it has such low gravity. Oh, we're already in the high above Kerbal. Yes, I know. Whoa. Is that thing moving? It shouldn't be moving around like that. Okay. Okay, get back in. And keep it steady. I mean, yeah, I know he left it, but it shouldn't have just started wobbling around. Okay, now let's head to Minmus. Also, I'm gonna be trying to keep these episodes around like 30 minutes. Because the last episode ended up being like 45 minutes. And I want to keep them around 30 minutes because I want them to be consistent. Okay, and we're going to wait until we're at our periapsis. Yeah. And try not to focus too much on the distance between you and wherever it is you're moving to. Try to focus on the time. See, that says T minus 41, 40, 37, 36 minutes. And see, you want to focus on the time, not the distance. Because the distance can start to change very rapidly, very suddenly. And it can sort of trick you into thinking that you're farther away than you actually are. So, yeah, doesn't need to be precise. But we do want to get close to that periapsis. So, yeah. With probably this video and most of my videos from now on, they're probably going to be multi-part missions. Because I want to keep the episodes around 30 minutes. I don't want them to get too long. Oh, Gilly, Ike. So that would be around where Eve is, and let me get, okay. That would be around where Duna is right now. Alright. See, Minmus's gravity is very low. It's very easy to get in, very easy to get yourself on a good landing trajectory, and very easy to land as well. So yeah, probably going to have multi-part missions from now on. Just because a lot of these missions can take a long time, even if I cut through a lot of stuff. Because I don't want to cut through too much of it. It still has to have some content in it. I want to be able to cut through some of the dull and uninteresting stuff, but I don't want to just cut away the entire episode. We're approaching Minmus. Okay, oh yeah. Got the visual effects there. It adds a dust cloud to Minmus. I like it. I like the visual effects mod. It's really cool. Oh, and I finally got that toolbar mod uninstalled. So I don't have that little toolbar thing up. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that was actually a really helpful mod, but it's helpful in the context of it's useful for other mods, which I don't have any other mods installed right now that would use it. Okay, so the sun is over there, so my shadow is going to be over there, or my shadow is just going to be on the dark side of my lander. Coming down a bit fast. That's okay, like I said. Minmus is one of the easier things to land on. Oh geez. Why did it switch to orbit? It should have been on surface. Okay. Oh lord. Yeah, it's supposed to switch to surface when you get close like this. I don't know why it did not. But your orbital velocity and your surface velocity are different. So you need to keep an eye on that. You always want to be sure that when you come in for a landing, you're using the surface velocity, because you don't want to use your orbital velocity for that. Very bad. But we're okay. Like I said, this is a really easy landing because the gravity is so low here compared to the moon. There we go. Okay, just stand still. Okay. There we go. Temperature scan from Minmus's Midlands. Collected and recorded temperature data. Alright. Materials Bay. Material study from Minmus's Midlands. While the material samples were processed, you began to turn your thoughts to how much Minmus looks like a mint dessert, and have discovered that you are now hungry. Observe the mystery goo. Mystery goo observation. Observe the mystery goo. Crew report from Minmus's Midlands. Alright. See, I barely have to do anything. I just sort of float away. There we go. Planting it over here. Alright. An easy landing. Good enough. There we go. Take a screenshot. Alright, let's take a surface sample. The surface seems to consist of tiny crystal-like grains, very pretty. Probably not edible. EVA report. You feel a bit like a superhero when you jump in the low gravity. Whee! Okay, yeah, that would definitely make anyone feel like a superhero. I actually have to thrust downward to keep from going too high. Alright. Let's take that data and board the rocket. Let's see, what else do we need to do? We do need a temperature scan from just above the surface. I think we got most everything. this the right way? I think this is the right way. This is the right way. Okay. I like that. That's a nice view. Whoa! Pretty high up, really quickly. Really easy takeoff. And now we just sort of float up there. But while we're doing that, let's get a mystery goo observation. Goo feels right at home. Log the temperature. And do a crew report. Looking at the surface of Minmus reminds you of a favorite childhood dessert. You are tempted to taste the surface. Okay, just stop it. Stop it. Do an EVA report. Yeah, collect the data from the materials bay and the mystery goo. And take the thermometer data. And collect that data. And get back in. Oh wait. I needed to take the crew report too. Because we want a crew report from high above Minmus when we get the chance for that. That makes it really easy. Just hit that little prograde marker there. Makes all this a lot easier. Alright. Just stay in one place. Alright. Now there is an ideal point in our orbit in which we want to burn to go back home. And that's going to be right here, I think. And that has to do with the way orbital mechanics work, the way our orbit is. I don't know the details. It has to do with gravity and stuff. Anyway, this is about 30 minutes, so I think I'm going to cut it here, and we'll see the rest of this mission in the next video, and I'll probably start on the Duna mission in the next video as well. And I'll be sending Wendy on that one. So I think that about covers it. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and until next time.